Welcome to Reddy Ias Academy. Let me introduce myself. My name is Mithun. I have done my post-graduation English Language and Literature from Kerala University. I have been in the field of teaching for more than 12 years. I have been teaching in Hyderabad for more than 10 years. I have been teaching for civil services for more than 9 years now. So I am a faculty for civil services CSAT. I deal with the verbal part of CSAT in prelims. In the case of mains, I deal with paper 1, the general essay paper writing skills. So here at this institute, I'll be dealing with the verbal part, and Mr. Srinivas Chaudhary sir will be dealing with the arithmetic part, the mathematics part. Now here, as it is my first session, as we're just moving on to the verbal part of CSAT, first we'll go for an introduction. I mean, it's like we'll discuss what are the kinds of questions that can be expected in the verbal part of CSAT, and then we'll move on to the topics in detail. Now, as you know, in the verbal part of CSAT, we have only two sections or questions on two topics. We can expect questions on two topics in the verbal part of CSAT, and those two topics are, one is reading comprehension, and the other one is logical reasoning. One is reading comprehension, and the other one is logical reasoning. These are two topics on which questions, or based on which questions appear in the verbal part of our examination. Reading comprehension and logical reasoning. Now these two come under verbal logic. These two come under verbal logic. Now, as you know, there will not be any question on grammar or vocabulary in our examination, in the verbal part of CSAT. We have questions based only on verbal logic. It means reading comprehension and logical reasoning. Now, what do you mean by the word logic? Logic means what? Now, whatever we say must be logical. Whatever we do must be logical. Now, logic refers to making sense. And verbal logic questions are intended to test our reasoning ability. So reading comprehension and logical reasoning, these two test our reasoning ability. So we're going to focus only on the verbal logic part as far as our examination is concerned. Means as far as the verbal part of our examination is concerned. Reading comprehension and logical reasoning. Now some of the concepts in grammar will surely help us while approaching these two types of questions. So we'll not go for the grammar topics in detail anyway. We'll focus only on those important concepts in grammar that will surely come to our help while approaching reading comprehension and logical reasoning. So only those concepts or those topics we'll focus on. Other than that, we'll not go for grammar in detail. And when it comes to vocabulary, what do you mean by the word vocabulary? Vocabulary means what? Now vocabulary means word part. The number of words we know in a particular language is termed as vocabulary. In this case, it is the English language. As you know, in the examination, we cannot expect colloquial language. What do you mean by colloquial language? C-O-L-L-O-Q-U-I-E-L, colloquial. Informal language, right? The local language. The one that we use every day while speaking, that is colloquial language. Now, we cannot expect colloquial language. What we can expect is standard English. That means we need to have a good knowledge of the new words in the English language. We need to build a vocabulary. Now, as in the examination, we will come across, especially in UPSC, we'll come across some standard usages. So, a good knowledge of the new words in the English language will surely help us comprehend or understand the text better. To build a vocabulary, if you're planning to build a vocabulary, it's always better that you start with these three: prefix, suffix, and root. These three will surely help us build our vocabulary. And instead of learning 300, 400 words by heart, when you learn words, try to associate them with prefixes, suffixes, and roots. Now these three will surely help us make educated guesses, not just guesses. Some educated guesses about the meanings of words as well as the charges of words. Now what do you mean by prefix? Fine, let me ask you this first. How many alphabets in English? 26? Now, that's a false belief. Now, since childhood, we have been learning that there are 26 alphabets in English. That's a false belief. There's only one alphabet in English. Now, A to Z are not termed as alphabets. A to Z are termed as letters. And the letters from A to Z are together termed as the English alphabet. So, English has only one alphabet, and that alphabet consists of 26 letters. Now, all languages have only one alphabet. The rest are called letters. If I say my name is Mithun, M-I-T-H-U-N, should I say there are 6 alphabets in my name? No, there are 6 letters in my name. And all the 26 letters together is termed as the English alphabet. Now, what is a prefix? What do you mean by pre? If I say pre-degree, pre in the sense before. Pre-degree is before degree. So, what's a prefix? The letters. The letters that come at the beginning of a word is termed as a prefix. Suffix that come at the end of a word. The letters that come at the end of a word is termed as a suffix. What do you mean by a root? Now, in English, we have many words borrowed from other languages like Greek, Latin, and so many other languages. So, anything from which a particular word originates, the origin is termed as a root. So, a good knowledge of the commonly used prefixes, suffixes, and roots will surely help us make some educated guesses about the meanings of words as well as the charges of words. Now, for example, if I say anti. Now, anti is a negative prefix or a positive prefix? Anti. Anti is a negative prefix, meaning against or opposite, right? Anti is a negative prefix meaning against or opposite. If I say when you take a movie, I say Prabhas is the hero and Rana is a villain. Prabhas is the hero and Rana is a villain. Who can be termed as the protagonist and who can be termed as the antagonist? Who can be termed as the protagonist and who can be termed as the antagonist? One is a negative word and one is a positive word. Which is a negative word here? Protagonist or antagonist? Antagonist. Now I say antagonist is a negative word. The simple reason is anti is a negative prefix. And protagonist becomes a positive word because PRO is a positive prefix meaning something or someone that is given utmost importance. So these two prefixes help us identify the charges of these two words. And identifying the charge will surely help us eliminate options. I'll tell you why. Now when you go for the main character or the hero is termed as the protagonist. And the antagonist is a person who is against the protagonist. That means the protagonist becomes a hero, antagonist becomes a villain. Now when you go for a verbal question in the verbal part of for your examination, as I said, we have only 2 sections, reading, comprehension, logical reasoning. Now, when you go for a verbal question, the 2 things we need to focus on are, one is understanding the context. Understanding the context means the meaning of each and every sentence, right? Not the whole passage, I'll tell you why. The meaning of each and every sentence or each and every idea must be understood by us. That is understanding the context. And the second thing is identifying the charge. Now, identifying the charge in the sense whether a question or an idea carries a positive charge or a negative charge. These are 2 things we need to focus on. Now, the way you eliminate options in the case of mathematics using the charge, the same way you can eliminate options in the case of English using the charge. Now, when you take a question, you identify the charge of the question. If the question is positively charged, you eliminate all the negative options. Similarly, if the question is negatively charged, you eliminate all the positive options. Because if the question is positive, the answer must also be positive. If the question is negative, the answer must also be negative. So, we need to focus on these 2 while approaching in fact, every type of verbal question. In the case of examination, these 2 types. Now, there are many strategies that help us understand the context. There are many strategies that help us identify the charge. We'll go for all those concepts in detail before we think about the application part, before we move on to the exercises. As you know, guesswork will never help us. If you want to go for guesswork, there's no need for you to attend any classes. There's no need for any faculty to come and give sessions as well. So we can never rely on guesswork. We need to go by the concepts, right? Guesswork will never help us. Now in our sessions, we'll discuss every exercise, every question, every option based only on the concepts. And if I tell you that A is the answer, I need to give you a valid logical reason to say that A is the answer. And I need to give you valid logical reasons to eliminate the other three options, right? So every decision of us, whether it is selection or elimination, must be based only on the concepts and not based on guesswork. So I'll tell you the strategies in detail, the concepts in detail. Now verbal logic questions don't have any rules in fact, but there are many strategies or techniques. There are many strategies or techniques to approach every verbal logic question. In the case of our examination, these two. So we'll discuss all those strategies. We'll go for all those strategies in detail with examples. Now whenever you learn a rule or a strategy, make sure that you associate every rule or every strategy with an example. We may forget rules, but we may not forget examples. So with the help of examples, we can easily recollect the rules, right? So we need to associate every rule or every strategy with an example. So I'll give you the rules in detail. I'll tell you the concepts in detail. In fact, the strategies, not the rules in fact. I'll tell you the strategies in detail with examples, and then we'll think about the application part. And we'll solve every question on reading comprehension and logical reasoning based only on the strategies we discuss. Means we'll go for a particular concept to eliminate every option. That's what we do in our sessions, right? You'll get to know when we move on to the exercise part once we complete the concepts. Fine? Now, as I said, if you're planning to build your vocabulary, in fact, if you have a good knowledge of the new words in the language, it will be surely helpful. It will be surely helpful for you. Or it will surely help you a lot when you go for mains, because mains in a sense is all about writing. You need to impress your examiner with the words you use. You need to embellish your language. Your language or your text must look impressive, must seem impressive to the examiner or the reader. So all these will be very useful to you while writing. It means a good knowledge of the new words in language will surely help you a lot while writing. Now, as I said, in case you're planning to build your vocabulary, you start with the commonly used prefixes, suffix, and roots. When you learn a prefix, you learn the meaning of it. From the meaning, you can surely get to know whether that prefix is negatively charged or positively charged. Then learn 4 to 5 words related to that prefix. And make sure that you use those words while speaking or while writing, in fact, in your daily life. Because if you learn 4 to 5 words today, 4 or 5 words today, the next day when you go for another set of 4 to 5 words, what happens is, you may forget the words you have learned the previous day. So to make sure that it doesn't happen, what you need to do is, whatever words you learn, no matter how many words you learn a particular day, keep using those words while speaking and while writing. Because as you know, practice makes us perfect. Now, verbal logic questions will surely consume time, and they'll be fine only with practice. And practicing in the sense, practicing with the help of concepts, right? If I say, in the case of vocabulary itself, if I say sympathy, what do you mean by sympathizing? Sympathizing means what? What do you mean by pati? P-A-T-H-Y. Pati is a root word, meaning not that Hindi pati, not that husband pati, like that's Hindi one. I asked you the English one. Now, pati is a root word, meaning feelings of kindness. We have so many kinds of feelings, in fact. Feelings of kindness is termed as, pati means feelings of kindness, in fact. The feelings of kindness, that can be termed as pati. Now, sympathizing with a person means what? Showing kindness, showing mercy, having pity and all. That is sympathizing. Now, this allopathy, homeopathy, all these originate from this. In the olden days, nuns were doctors, sisters. So they used to treat the patients with a lot of concern for them, with humanity and all, right? With a lot of concern for them, showing them a lot of mercy and all. So from this allopathy, homeopathy, all these originated. So sympathizing with the person means showing kindness, showing mercy, having pity, etc. Sympathizing. What can be the antonym, the opposite of sympathy? Now what do you mean by empathy? Empathizing means what? E-M-P-A-T-H-Y. Empathy means? Now empathy is almost similar to sympathy. Not the same, almost similar. Empathizing with a person means placing ourselves in others' position to understand how they feel. If I place myself in your position to understand how you feel, that is termed as empathizing. Like walking a mile in a person's shoes is called empathizing, right? Walking a mile in a person's shoes. Now, my question was, what the antonym of sympathy is. That's what my question was. Now, simple. One is antipathy. Now, anti means against, and pathy is feelings of kindness. So, antipathy is against feelings of kindness, right? Antipathy. One more word can be the opposite of sympathy. It also contains pathy. Apathy. Now, apathy is a negative word because a is a negative prefix meaning no or not. If I say apathy, that means no pathy, no feelings of kindness for others. So I can say antipathy and apathy are negative words. The simple reason is anti and a are negative prefixes. So if you divide a word into prefix, suffix and root, you can make some educated guesses about the meaning of that word as well as the charge of that word. Now, what do you mean by the word democracy? Democracy means what? Now the definition, I know the definition. Demo is a prefix, crazy is a suffix. Now, demo is a prefix. In fact, dem is a prefix meaning people. Crazy is a suffix meaning rule or the system of government. So, demo means people and crazy means rule. So, what is democracy? People's rule. You know the definition of democracy, right? Of the people, by the people, for the people. So, democracy is ruled by the people or people's rule. What do you mean by autocracy? Now, what do you mean by the word autobiography? Auto means what? Auto means self. Like auto start is self start. Bio means what? Now, what do you mean by the word biology? Bio is a prefix, logy is a suffix. Bio is a prefix meaning life, means related to living things, life. Logy is a suffix meaning study. So bio means life and logy means study. So what is biology? Study of life is termed as biology. Zoology, zoo refers to animals. So study of animals is termed as zoology. What do you mean by theology? Now, theo is a prefix meaning theu, theology. Now, one who believes in God is termed as a theist, T-H-E-I-S-T. A theist is a person who believes in God. What is the antonym, the opposite of theist? Atheist. Because as I told you, a is a negative prefix meaning no or not. So if I say atheist, that means not a theist. So one who believes in God is a theist. One who does not believe in God is an atheist, right? Now you can make a guess. What does the prefix theo mean? One who believes in God is a theist. One who does not believe in God is an atheist. So theo is a prefix referring to religion or God. So theo means religion or God and logy means study. So what is theology? Study of religion or study of God is termed as theology. Study of the Bible, the Quran, the Ramayana, all these can be termed as theology. Come back to autobiography. Auto means self. Bio means life. What do you mean by graph? Graph. Graph means something that is written or drawn, like autograph. Autograph is self-written, right? So something that is written or drawn is graph. So auto means self, bio means life, and graph means written. So what is autobiography? Self-written about life is termed as autobiography. That means if I write my life history, that is termed as autobiography. Then what is biography? If somebody else writes my life history, that is termed as biography because auto is not. Right? So good knowledge of the commonly used prefixes, suffixes and roots will surely help us make some educated guesses when you come across some new words. Now I asked you about autocracy, right? Auto means self, cracy means rule. Right? So what is autocracy? Self-rule. Now self-rule in the sense like a dictatorship. If I say that I am the only person having all the pass, and if I consider you as my slaves, I should be termed as an autocratic ruler. Give me a famous example of an autocratic ruler. Hitler, Mussolini, Gaddafi, right? Saddam Hussein. All these people are examples of autocratic rulers. Then what is theocracy? Theocracy. Theo in the sense, I told you, religion or God. And cracy means rule. So theocracy is, God will not come and rule, in fact. Rule in the name of God. Where the religion rules, where the religious people rule, that is termed as theocracy. Vatican City, where the Pope rules. All Arab countries where the religion rules, Jainism, Buddhism, all these can be termed as examples of theocracy. What do you mean by this word? Monologue. Monologue. Mono means what? Mono means single, right? Log means, log is speech, right? Mono means single, log means speech. Now what do you mean by dialogue? Dialogue. Log means speech. Dia means what? Now dia does not mean two, bi means two, right? Dia doesn't mean two, bi means two. If I say, who can be called a bilingual writer? Bilingual writer. Bi means two. Lingual refers to languages. So one who can write in two languages can be termed as a bilingual writer. Trilingual, three languages. Multilingual, many languages. Multi refers to many. So one who can write in many languages can be termed as a multilingual writer. Who can be called a multi-dexterous person? Multi-dexterous person. Multi means many. Now who can be called an ambidextrous person? Now bi means two, ambi means both. Now if I can use my right hand as well as my left hand equally, I should be termed as an ambidextrous person. So if I can use my right, if I can write using my left hand as well as my right hand, I should be termed as an ambidextrous person. So bi means two, ambi means both. This is multi-dexterous. Multi means many. Dexter is a root word meaning dexter, multi-dexterous person. Dexter is a root word meaning talents, abilities or skills. D-E-X-T-E-R-O-U-S. Now dexter is a root word meaning talents, abilities or skills. So multi means many. Dexter refers to talents, abilities or skills. So who can be termed as a multi-dexterous person? One who has got many skills, many talents, many abilities. A multi-talented person can be termed as a multi-dexterous person. One who has got many talents or many abilities and all. Multi-dexterous. Now as I said, dia does not mean two, bi means two. Dia means across or through, right? Across or through. Like diagram. Diagonal. Diagonal means from one end to the other end. That's diagonal. So dia means across or through and log means speech. So dialogue is the statement made by a person. If I say something to you, the statement made by me is my dialogue. If you say something to me, the statement made by you is your dialogue. And when I say something to you, I'm conveying something to you. It's through. Similarly, when you say something to me, you're conveying something to me, it's through. That's called a dialogue. This is, now when you read the script of a movie or something, the name of a person, of a character will be mentioned. After that, a colon will be there. Then a statement will be there. That statement is a dialogue of that particular person. It means that statement will be delivered by, or that sentence will be delivered by, uttered by that particular person. So that statement becomes a dialogue of that person. That's called a dialogue. This is monologue. Mono means single and log means speech. Monologue is not single speech. Speech by a single person is termed as a monologue. Now, for example, I'm delivering a speech. I'm the only person who is speaking, and you are the listeners. You are being silent listeners. That is called a monologue. That means, in the case of a monologue, there will be only one speaker. The listeners will be there. The only thing is, they will be silent listeners. That is called a monologue. Then what is a soliloquy? S-O-L-I-L-O-Q-U-Y. Soliloquy. Solo means what? Single. But in fact, solo means like being alone without company and all. Like isolated, solitude, solitary and all. So solo means single or being alone. And loci means speech. Log and loci mean the same speech. So solo means single or being alone, and loci means speech. So what is soliloquy? Speech by a single person. Now, are the meanings of monologue and soliloquy the same or different? Completely different. In the case of monologue, there will be only one speaker. The listeners will be there. The only thing is, they will be silent listeners. In the case of a soliloquy also, there will be only one speaker but no listeners. Can you imagine such a situation? One speaker and no listeners. Are we mad? Have you ever gone for a soliloquy in your life? At least once? Yes. Now, almost every day we go for a soliloquy. If you have not gone for a soliloquy in your life, means you are mad. Almost every day we go for a soliloquy. But there will be many situations where we go for a soliloquy. One among the many situations is like, if I say, tomorrow morning I will deliver a speech. Tonight I will practice. Will I call everyone and practice? Will I say, come, I'm going to practice? No. I'll practice all by myself. That means what I say will be heard only by me. That is termed as a soliloquy. That means, in the case of a soliloquy, the speaker and the listener will be the same person. Right? The speaker and the listener will be the same person in the case of a soliloquy. Whereas in the case of a monologue, there will be only one speaker. The listeners will be there. The only thing is silent listeners. Then what is a conversation? Conversation. Now, a conversation is a to and fro process. To and fro process in the sense, the speaker becomes a listener and the listener becomes a speaker. Now, it's an interactive process. And when I say something to you, I am the speaker, you're the listener. When you say something to me, you're the speaker, I am the listener. Right? Now, a conversation is an exchange of ideas, thoughts, emotions, feelings and all. It's a to and fro process where feedback will be there. Right? And when I say something to you and when you reply, that's the feedback I get. When you say something to me and I reply, that's the feedback you get. An exchange of thoughts, ideas, emotions and all. That is termed as a conversation. In the case of our examination, in the case of questions like reading comprehension and logical reasoning, the most important thing is contextual vocabulary. We'll go for this one in detail. Contextual vocabulary. Now, I'll tell you what it is. Before that, as you know, English is a very complicated language. Sometimes a single word is more than enough to change the entire meaning of the sentence. Entire meaning in the sense like the context and the entire charge of the sentence. So meaning and the charge may change with a single word sometimes. Now I'll give you a list of keywords. I want you to by heart those keywords. We'll try solving exercises or questions based on those keywords apart from the other concepts. Right? Now there's a concept. I'll tell you about contextual vocabulary, but before that, there's a concept called double negation. Double negation. Now what do you mean by double negation? As you know, when two negative terms come together, the meaning becomes positive. Minus into minus is plus. If I say antiseptic, antiseptic is a negative word or a positive word? Antiseptic. Anti is a negative prefix or a positive prefix? Anti is a negative prefix. Septic is a negative word or positive word? Wound becoming septic. Negative, positive? Negative. Anti is a negative prefix. Septic is a negative word. Two negative terms coming together. Double negation. Antiseptic becomes a positive word. Anti-ragging, anti-corruption, anti-terrorism, anti-virus, all these are positive words only because of double negation. This concept will surely help us eliminate options in the case of both reading comprehension and logical reasoning. I'll tell you how to approach questions and how to eliminate the options. Not impossible. Not impossible, negative, positive. Same thing. The same thing. Not is negative. Impossible is also negative. Im is a negative prefix meaning not. So impossible means not possible. So not is negative. Impossible is also negative. Two negative terms coming together. Double negation. Not impossible means possible, which is positive. Not social. Negative, positive. Social is a negative term or positive verb? Positive term. Positive term. So not social becomes negative. I said when two negative terms come together, double negation becomes positive. Not bad. Positive. Not bad means good. But not bad cannot be termed as that positive. Now, not bad means an okay kind of performance. An average performance is termed as not bad. Still it is positively charged because of double negation. We can get a lot of help from this concept while approaching questions on reading comprehension and logical reasoning. Right? Now English is a very complicated language. And sometimes a single word is more than enough, as I told you, to change the entire meaning of a sentence and the entire charge of a sentence. If I say, imagine, you just think this way, it is very cold outside, right? It is very cold outside and I like this weather very much. It's very cold outside and I like this weather very much. If I like this weather very much, should I say it is so cold outside or it is too cold outside? One is negative, one is positive. I said I like this weather very much. If I like this weather very much, should I say it is so cold outside or it is too cold outside? Which is negative? So is negative, too is negative. If I say, if I say the girl is too smart. The girl is too smart. This sentence is negatively charged or positively charged? Or else if I tell you, you are too smart, should you feel happy or not? You are too smart. Too smart means what? Over smart. Being overly smart is termed as too smart. Now, too is always something that is unnecessary, extra, we say overaction. So, TOO conveys a negative meaning, whereas so conveys a positive meaning. So, if someone says you are too smart, don't feel happy. Whereas if someone says you are so smart, then you can feel happy. So, a single word changes the entire meaning of a sentence and the entire charge of a sentence. Now, TOO, when it comes with an adjective, you know what an adjective is, right? Any word that describes a noun or a pronoun is termed as an adjective, like beautiful, intelligent, honest, sincere, handsome and all. When TOO2 comes with an adjective, it is negatively charged. When so comes with an adjective, it is positively charged. Right? If I say the boy is too intelligent, negative, positive, negative. Now, too much of everything is bad. Too good, too beautiful, too intelligent, too sincere, too honest, too innocent. Now, people who are too innocent must be careful about. They'll try to cheat us. All these are negatively charged. When so comes with an adjective, it's positive. So good, so beautiful, so intelligent, so handsome, so innocent. All these are positively charged. Right? So if I like this weather very much, I should say it is so cold outside. If I don't like this weather, I should say it is too cold outside. So single word is more than enough to change the entire meaning of a sentence and the entire charge of a sentence. Now, VERY, very, can be used in a negative sense as well as in a positive sense. It depends on the word with which we use very. Very good, positive. Very beautiful, very intelligent, very honest, very handsome, very beautiful. All these are positively charged. Very bad, negative. Very dirty, very ugly, very tricky, very cunning. All these are negatively charged. So very can be used in a negative sense as well as in a positive sense. As I said, it depends on the word with which we use very. Fine? Now what if I go for a statement like, he is too intelligent to be cheated. He is too intelligent to be cheated. This sentence is negatively charged or positively charged? He is too intelligent to be cheated. This sentence is negatively charged or positively charged? Understand the meaning. I say this sentence is positively charged because of double negation. I used two negative terms here. Too intelligent is negative. To be cheated is also negative. There are two negative terms in this sentence. Double negation becomes positive. He is too intelligent to be cheated means he is so intelligent that he cannot be cheated. That is the meaning of this sentence. He is so intelligent that he cannot be cheated. We cannot miss any concept because we don't know based on which concept will get a help. Now there are many words in the language that almost mean the same, but a slight difference will be there in the meanings and all. Right? Almost mean the same, but sometimes negatively charged, sometimes positively charged. Now as I said, in the case of our examination, the most important thing is contextual vocabulary. We'll go for this one in detail anyway. Now contextual vocabulary in the sense, in English, one word has many meanings. When you refer dictionary, the word will be here, the meanings will last till here. Right? One word has many meanings. And the meaning of a word depends on the context or the situation in which the word appears. That is termed as contextual vocabulary. In the case of reading comprehension and logical reasoning, meanings of individual words do not matter. We should not get stuck with any word because the meanings of individual words do not matter. What matter are the meanings of the ideas that are in the passage. So we should never get stuck with any word actually because our focus must be on the ideas in the passage and not on the words. If I say sound, you know one meaning of sound. What if I say, the boy is sound at mathematics? The boy is sound at mathematics. What can be the contextual meaning of sound here? Good, excellent, perfect, knowledgeable, sharp and all. The boy is knowledgeable, means he has got a good knowledge about mathematics. He is excellent at mathematics. He is good at mathematics. All these meanings fit the context. If I say romance, does the word romance mean the love affair between a boy and a girl? The love affair between a boy and a girl is termed as romance or not? Of course it's romance. Now here, as I told you, verbal logic, reading comprehension, logical reasoning come under a section called verbal logic. And verbal logic is all about making sense. Logic in the sense, making sense. If I say, I am in romance with this marker. I'm in romance with this marker makes sense or not? Yes? Of course it makes sense. I'm in romance with my phone makes sense. I'm in romance with nature makes sense. No extreme liking towards anything can be termed as romance. And the love affair between a boy and a girl is only one of the meanings of romance. If I say I'm in romance with this marker, that means I like this marker very much. I am a nature lover. I'm in romance with nature. So one word has many meanings. The love affair between a boy and a girl is only one of the meanings of romance. If I say, he is in the toilet. He is in the toilet. Does it mean that he is in the washroom? Not necessarily. Because toilet is any private room. Any private room can be termed as a toilet. If I'm sitting in a closed cabin, which is a private room, that can be termed as a toilet. That is why we use the word washroom to make it more precise. Washroom is only washroom, but toilet can be any private room. One word has many meanings, and the meaning of a word depends on the context or sentence or situation in which the word appears. That's termed as contextual vocabulary. We'll go for this one anyway in detail. Now, while reading, we may come across some idioms and phrases, right? We may come across some idioms and phrases. What is a phrase? Now, a phrase is a small group of words taken as a single unit conveying a single meaning. In fact, phrases are meant to be used by the native speakers of the language. English is not a native language, it's a foreign language to us. But still, if we have a good knowledge of idioms and phrases in the language, you can comprehend the text better. And if the phrase is given a sentence, you can undoubtedly get the help of contextual vocabulary. You can make an educated guess about the meaning of that phrase from that context. That is called contextual vocabulary. If I say, to give an example of a phrase, pass away. Pass away is a phrase. We should never take the meanings of the individual words in a phrase actually, right? Anyway, in the case of our examination, if a phrase is there in the text, it will be there in a sentence. So we can get the help of contextual vocabulary. Now, pass away. Now, I should not take the individual meaning of pass. I should not take the individual meaning of away. When these two words are combined, they are taken as a single unit conveying a single meaning. That is called a phrase. Pass away means what? To die. If I go from one side to the other, from this side to that side, should you say Mithun passed away? No. Pass away means to die. If I move from one side to the other, or go from one side to the other, it is not Mithun passed away, it's Mithun passed by. Now, while speaking, there is no need for you to use a phrase and all. You can go for simple language. But at the time of our examination, we may come across some phrases. In the case of in passages or in a logical reasoning question and all. At that time, we need to try to understand the meaning of that phrase. That's the only thing. If I say eat in, E-A-T-I-N, eat in. If I say I ate in today morning, what does it mean? Eat in. I ate in today morning means eat in means eating at home. Eating at home is termed as eat in. I ate in today morning means I ate at home today morning. Then what is eat out? Sitting outside eating? No. Eat in means eating at home. So eat out means what? Eating at a restaurant or a hotel. Eating at a restaurant or a hotel is termed as eat out. Shall we eat out? Means shall we eat at a restaurant or a hotel? Right? That is eat out. In front of restaurants, you'll find dine in. Right? Dine in. Doesn't mean you go home and eat. No. Dine in means what? You can feel at home. You can eat here the way you eat at home. That is dine in. And what is a motel? M-O-T-E-L, motel. What do you mean by M-O-R-T-A-L, motel? M-O-R-T is a root word meaning death, right? Like post-mortem. Post means what? After. Pre means before. Post-mortem is after death. Mortuary. Human beings are mortal. Will die one day. God is immortal, right? Immortal is a positive word because of double negation, right? Immortal is a positive word because of double negation. I am is a negative prefix meaning not, right? And mortal means death. So immortal, M-O-R-T means death. So immortal means no death. God is eternal. He is immortal. He doesn't have death. What is M-O-T-E-L, mortal? You may find this on highways and all. Now all the dabas we find on the highways are motels. A motel is a roadside restaurant for motorists. M-O-T-U-R-I-S-T-S. Motorists in the sense like who travel by motor vehicles. You know, all the dabas we find on the highways, like near the dabas there won't be any houses actually. All those dabas are intended to attract the people who travel by motor vehicles, right? That's a motel, M-O-T-E-L, a roadside restaurant for motorists. I think you may know this one. Holy cow. Holy cow. It's a phrase actually. It does not mean a religious cow or sacred cow. We should not take the meanings of the individual words in a phrase as it. You know this Kolaveri song, right? All of you know. You must know the song by heart as well. We have this phrase in that Kolaveri song, like cow, cow, holy cow. Now, holy cow is a usage that expresses depression, sadness, or shock, like holy shit, right? Holy shit. Now, we say shit when we're happy or depressed. When we're happy, we don't say shit. When we're depressed, irritated, or frustrated, we'll say shit, right? Now, you know, have you watched that movie, 3 movie? If you have watched, you know the situation which he sings that song, right? After the breakup, in a very depressed state, after getting drunk, he sings that song. So, holy cow means like it's an usage expressing depression, sadness, or shock. So, we can guess the meanings of most of the phrases from the context in which they appear, in fact. Some are difficult, the others are completely fine. In the case of our examination, as far as CSAT is concerned, the verbal part of CSAT is concerned, we have to focus only on reading comprehension, logical reasoning. And as I told you earlier, these two are a bit time consuming, but they should be fine. You should be fine with those two by practicing with the help of concepts, right? Now I'll ask you a simple logical question. Now, every word in the option and the sentence that talks about the option matters actually. I'll tell you how to approach anyway, leave it there. My question is this. All the students in the class are writing. All the students in the class are writing. Rahul is in the class. Fine. All the students in the class are writing. Rahul is in the class. From this, can you conclude that Rahul is writing? Yes or no? All the students in the class are writing. Rahul is in the class. From this, can you conclude that Rahul is writing? Yes? I say no. Because, what did I say? My question was this. All the students in the class are writing. Then I said, Rahul is in the class. Did I say that Rahul is a student in the class? No. So he may be a teacher in the class, sometimes we don't know. So from this, we cannot conclude that Rahul is writing. Fine? What if I say, all the students in the class are writing. Rahul is a student. Fine? All the students in the class are writing. Rahul is a student. From this, can you conclude that Rahul is writing? Yes or no? Still, the answer is no. I said, all the students in the class are writing. Then I said, Rahul is a student. Did I say that he is in the class? No. So, he may not be in the class sometimes, we don't know. So, from this also, we cannot conclude that Rahul is writing. All the students in the class are writing. The class means a specific class, a particular class. All the students in the class are writing. Rahul is a student who is in a class. Fine? All the students in the class are writing. Rahul is a student who is in a class. From this, can you conclude that Rahul is writing? No, you cannot. Because you know the reason in fact. I said all the students in the class are writing. That means a specific class. Then I said Rahul is a student who is in a class. A class means what? It can be any class. So he may not be in that particular class. So from this also we cannot conclude that Rahul is right. Fine? Now listen to me. Listen to my statement. All the students in the class are writing. All the students in the class are writing. Rahul is a student who is in that class. Fine? All the students in the class are writing. Rahul is a student who is in that class. From this, can you conclude that Rahul is writing? Now a sentence says that girl. Immediately before the sentence, there must be a sentence or there will be a sentence containing mention about a girl. Only then we can say that girl. If a sentence says these boys or those boys, immediately before it, there must be a sentence containing mention about some boys. Only then we can say these boys or those boys. The same way, if a sentence says that class, immediately before it, there will be a sentence containing mention about a class. Because only then we can say that class. So as I said, all the students in the class are writing. Rahul is a student who is in that class. That class means which class? The class where all the students are writing. So what must Rahul be doing now? Rahul must also be writing now. So from this you can conclude that Rahul is right. In the case of reading comprehension, there is no need for us to understand the whole passage. I'll tell you why. We need to focus only on the option and the sentence that talks about the option. One option and sentence that talks about that option. That's it. When you focus only on these two, you just forget about the rest of the passage. We don't want the rest of the passage. I'll tell you why. If you try to understand the whole passage, it becomes an utter waste of time. It's a blunder in fact. Never try to understand the whole passage. You focus only on the sentence that talks about every option. Compare only the sentence with the option. Apply the concepts onto these two. And then decide whether you have to select that option or eliminate it. We'll discuss how to eliminate options and get the answer. If I go for a sentence like, just listen. Go to any teacher, right? Go to any teacher. I'm saying this sentence to you, right? Go to any teacher. Now my question is, based only on this sentence, go to any teacher. Based only on this sentence, what can be understood or what can be concluded? That's my question. I am a teacher. I am not a teacher. Maybe, may not be a teacher. You forget about the fact. Based only on this sentence, go to any teacher. Based only on this sentence, what can be concluded? I am a teacher. I am not a teacher. Maybe, may not be a teacher. No, it's not maybe, may not be. I know what you're thinking now. It's not maybe or may not be. I'm a teacher, I'm not a teacher. If I say go to any teacher, that means I'm not a teacher. If I say go to any other teacher, then it means that I am also a teacher. Every word in the sentence matters. In the option matters in fact. In the option and every word in the sentence that talks about the option matters. If I say go to any teacher, that means I'm not a teacher. If I say go to any other teacher, then it means that I am also a teacher. If I say, instead of selecting you, I select a man. Fine? Instead of selecting you, I select a man. From this sentence you tell me, are you a man? No, you're not a man. I said, instead of selecting you, I select a man. That means you're not a man. What if I say, instead of selecting you, I select another man. Instead of selecting you, I select another man. Now tell me, are you a man? Yes, now you're a man. Instead of selecting you, I select another man means you're also a man. Clear? So every word in the option and every word in the sentence that talks about the option matters. Now, while reading, you may come across some confusing words. Confusing words in the sense, now there are many words in the language that sound positive but are negative, or that sound negative but are positive. Such words may confuse us by identifying the charge of a sentence. And identifying the charge is one of the two things we need to focus on while approaching both reading comprehension and logical reasoning. Now, for example, if I say artful, artful is a negative word or a positive word? Artful. Now, one second. Art. Art is a negative word or a positive word? Of course, positive. What do you mean by arts? If I say a person of arts, a person of arts means what? Talents, abilities, skills. So, art is of course a positive word. Artful, artless, which is negative, which is positive. Artful is negative, positive. Positive or negative? Artful is negative, whereas artless is positive. Now, if someone says, I'm an artful person, I should not feel happy. Now, art has nothing to do with artful. If someone says I'm an artful person, I should not feel happy, because an artful person is one who plays tricks on others, who cheats others, who deceives others, a very cunning person. Whereas an artless person is a very sincere, straightforward, innocent, honest person. So even though artful sounds positive, it is negative. Artless sounds negative, but it is positive. So some words like these may confuse us by identifying the charge of a sentence. Heartful, H-E-A-R-T-F-U-L. Heartful is a negative word or positive word? Fine. Heartless, negative, positive. Heartless. If I say you are a heartless person, you are a heartless person, doesn't mean you don't have heart. No. We cannot survive without heart. We should never take the literal meaning actually. Who can be termed as a heartless person? A person who does not have any kind of concern for others, who lacks sympathy, humanity, who does not have mercy and all. Such a person can be termed as a heartless person, a stone-hearted person, negative. Heartful, negative, positive, heartful. No, it is not negative, it is not positive. There is no word in English like heartful, right? Even though we use it, it's not there. There is something called Indian English, like cousin, brother, no such usage, but we use, right? So there are many uses in the English language that we have invented, but the English people don't know in fact. And we use all those words while speaking. In our daily conversation and all, we use those. Heartful word is not there. Now what is if I say awful, awful is a negative word or positive word? If I say you have made an awful performance, should you feel happy? No. Awful means like the worst performance. Negatively charged. What is the opposite of awful? Awesome. Awesome is positive, you know that, because almost every day you use that word. Awful is negative, awesome is positive. Now what is the difference between these two words? Praise and flatter. Praising and flattering. One is positive, one is negative. Praising is negative, positive. Praising is positive, flattering is negative. In fact, both mean speaking good about a person. Speaking good about a person, if he deserves it, that is praising. If he does not deserve it, that is flattering. Now we flatter a person for our own benefit. If I want something from you, I'll keep on saying many good things about you. My only intention is that I should benefit from that. That is termed as flattering. So praising is done with a positive intention, flattering is done with a negative intention. That's the only difference. Praising is positive, flattering is negative. A single word may change the entire meaning and the entire charge of a sentence, I said. What is the difference between getting surprised and getting shocked? Getting surprised and getting shocked. One is negative, one is positive. In fact, both are sudden emotions, right? Getting surprised, getting shocked, both are sudden emotions. But one is negative, one is positive. Getting surprised is positive, whereas getting shocked is negative. When we get surprised for a positive activity, we get shocked for a negative activity. Now, should I say, I am surprised at your performance, or I am shocked at your performance? Which is correct? Both are correct and both make sense, but the meanings and the charges are different. And if I like your performance, it depends on performance in fact. If I like your performance, I should say I'm surprised. If I don't like your performance, I should say I'm shocked. So both make sense. The only thing is the meanings and the charges are different. I said every option that we go for as the answer must make sense. If I say a sentence like, when I heard the news of my friend's father's death, I was surprised. When I heard the news of my friend's father's death, I was surprised. Make sense or not? It doesn't make any sense. Now, when I hear the news of my friend's father's death, should I feel surprised or shocked? I should feel shocked, right? So when I heard the news of my friend's father's death, I was shocked. Completely makes sense, right? When the boy got the first rank, his parents were shocked. Make sense? When the boy got the first rank, his parents were shocked. Now, when the son gets a first rank, his parents should feel surprised or shocked. There's nothing to feel shocked. When we get the first rank, sometimes our parents may feel shocked. But usually when a son gets a first rank, his parents should feel surprised or shocked. Surprised. There's nothing to feel shocked here. We get shocked for a negative activity. We get surprised for a positive activity. Now on your friend's birthday, you give him a birthday surprise or birthday shock. You don't give him a birthday shock actually. You give him a birthday surprise. Right? And when something really bad happens in the society, on television, we'll find shocking news or surprising news. We'll not find surprising news, we'll find shocking news. And if they mention it as surprising news, the next day they have to shut the channel, right? It'll be shocking news. Electric surprise or electric shock? Is something like electric surprise? No. It's something negative, positive? Negative. It must be electric shock. So we get shocked for a negative activity, we get surprised for a positive activity. That's the only difference. What's the difference between listening and hearing? Listening and hearing, difference? Now, listening is an active process, whereas hearing is a passive process. Listening is something that's done with concentration in order to understand, to comprehend, right? Hearing is like taking through one ear, leaving through the other ear. Now, we always listen to the voices that are pleasant to our ears. And we just hear the noises that are unpleasant to our ears. Now, we listen to music or we hear music? We listen to music because music is always pleasing, pleasant to our ears. We listen to the noise outside or we hear the noise outside? We just hear the noise outside because that is unpleasant. It's a kind of disturbance to our ears. So listening is an active process, hearing is a passive process. That's the only difference. When you listen to my class or hear my class? You can hear my class as well. Now, when we were in colleges and all, we never used to listen to classes, right? We just used to hear the classes, right? It varies from person to person. Some people may listen to the class, some people may just hear the class. But in fact, the correct usage is, we listen to a class or we listen to a lecture. Because a class or a lecture is meant to be listened to and comprehended, understood. That's the correct usage in fact. Now, some words can be both negative and positive. It depends on the context in which we come across that word. Contextual vocabulary, right? Contextual vocabulary. We must be able to make an educated guess about the meaning of that word from the context in which that word appears. If I say force, force is a negative word or positive word? Negative, positive or both? I say it can be both. If I go for a sentence like, the children were forced to work on the road. The children were forced to work on the road. Negative, positive? Negative. That means they did not want to work, but they got compelled to work. Negative. He has delivered his speech with force. He has delivered his speech with force. Negative, positive? Positive. He has delivered his speech with force means what? with energy, with enthusiasm, with excitement, with confidence and all. That becomes positive. So some words can be both negative and positive, depends on the sentence or the context in which the word appears. If I say getting tempted is something negative or positive? Negative or positive both, getting tempted. If I say, I got tempted to have ice cream. I got tempted to have ice cream. This sentence is negatively charged or positively charged? I got tempted to have ice cream. What is the meaning of the sentence? I got tempted to have ice cream means I am not supposed to have ice cream, or I should not have ice cream, but I am getting compelled in a way to have ice cream. That's the meaning. Understand the meaning. So I got tempted to have ice cream means I should not eat ice cream, or I'm not supposed to eat ice cream, but I'm getting tempted in a way to eat ice cream. That is the meaning of this sentence. This sentence is negatively charged. Now, getting tempted can never be positive. Getting tempted is always negative. If we get tempted, we will do all negative activities. If we get motivated or inspired, we will do all positive activities. Now, are you tempted to take the exam, or are you motivated to take the exam? No one will get tempted to take the exam. We'll get motivated to take the exam. Now, should I say, I got tempted by Gandhiji, correct? That's a blunder, in fact. The meaning is completely different. I got motivated by Gandhiji is okay, or I got inspired by Gandhiji is okay. I got tempted by Gandhiji is a blunder. Now, when you go to an interview, if you're very sure that you'll crack the interview, and before leaving the room, if you feel like flattering the interviewer, should you say, sir, you tempted me a lot? No. If you say that, you'll be kicked out that moment itself, right? Whatever you have gained till then will be lost forever. If you say, sir, you have motivated me a lot, sometimes you may get the job. So, temptation is a negative word. I'm not saying about the chocolate, in fact. That's a different story. It's a proper noun. Temptation is a negative word, whereas motivation and inspiration are positive words. So, you must be able to identify the charge of a word, understand the meaning of a word based on the context in which that word appears. Contextual vocabulary. Clear? If I say fate, fate is a negative word or positive word? Fate. We attribute something positive to fate or something negative to fate. Now, if something good happens to you, should you say your fate? If I marry the girl whom I love, should I say my fate? Should I? After some time I may say. At the beginning I will not say. Right? Now, fate, we never attribute something positive to fate. We always attribute something negative to fate, like fatal accident. Fatal accident means like one that results in death, right? Fatal accident. Fate is negative, whereas fortune is positive. Fortune means luck, right? Fate is negative, whereas fortune is positive. Fortunately, positive. Unfortunately, negative. Unfortunately means un is a negative prefix, meaning not, no fortune, no or not. If I say, unfortunately, I have met my best friend on the road, or fortunately, I have met my best friend on the road. Now, best friend means like one who is very close to me, right? So, it must be fortunately or unfortunately. Undoubtedly, fortunately. Fortunately, I have met my best friend on the road. Unfortunately, I have met my enemy on the road. Yes. And my enemy is a person whom I don't like actually. Right? So, unfortunately, I have met my enemy. My enemy on the road is completely fine. Clear? Now, as I said, in the case of, we will not focus much on grammar and vocabulary. We will focus on only these two sections, reading comprehension and logical reasoning. And these two come under a section called verbal logic. Right? These two types come under a section called verbal logic. And there are many strategies to approach both reading comprehension and logical reasoning. We have some types of questions. Every question has got its own approach. We'll discuss all those in the coming sessions. Next session will start with the top concepts in detail. I'll tell you the concepts in detail with examples, and later we'll think about the application part of those concepts. Now, as you know, knowing the concepts is not enough. You must be able to apply the concepts. And the application part we'll think about once we complete the concepts. And I repeat, In our sessions, we'll discuss every question, every exercise, every question, every option based only on the concepts. No guesswork at all. Fine? Thank you.